Hey everyone, I hope I'm live. I haven't gone live for quite a while, so I a little bit forgot how to do it technically. So if you're watching live, please let me know in the chat, in the comments that you can hear me, you can see me, and let's get started. The topic I want to talk about real quick is about how to make progress with stuttering and what this progress is actually. So this is a question for you. Are you making progress with stuttering? Do you have a goal to make progress with stuttering? And some people say, no, I just stutter and that's it. No progress. And there is no way to have any progress. Again, that's a view, that's a choice how to see that. Some people just the opposite. And probably the majority of people who are trying to improve their stutter somehow, how they deal with stutter, they would say that progress is simply stuttering less. And I always say that this is a bad measure, this is a bad way how to measure progress, because we all know that the easiest way how to stutter less is just to speak less. But the less you speak, the more you avoid speaking, the more you escape speaking, the more fear, tension, anxiety you create about speaking, the bigger, the stronger stuttering becomes, the more severe, we could say, it becomes. It just go like, again, maybe inside, maybe it's not outside, but it grows. It becomes stronger. So this is not a good way to measure progress. This is not the way to create progress. So it's not about stuttering less, it's something else. And I want to, again, you leave a comment. If you're watching a replay, please also let's engage, let's have a conversation. Leave a comment, say, what comes to your mind as a progress? What is it? Because we cannot improve what we cannot measure. So we want to somehow measure the progress. The question is how? How do you measure that? Again, why it's so important? Because if you're not clear about the progress and how to measure it, how to make progress, probably you can find yourself in a situation where you're doing something, but you're rambling in circles and there's no real progress actually. So it's really important to identify the progress properly. So, my answer. Again, I want your feedback, agree, disagree, maybe some conversation we have in the comments. But the way to measure progress is actually how you feel at the moment of speaking interaction. Especially, of course, in new environments, when you introduce yourself, when you need to reveal yourself the way you are, as a person who stutters, or you identify yourself differently. But anyways, the way you reveal yourself, that's the key moment where you can define and check and measure and see whether you're making progress or not. So how you feel at that point, and well, how you feel, I mean, do you feel tension? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel present at that moment? And I understand that with stuttering, we might come back to the same emotional state where it feels like I am articulating words, but it's kind of not me. I kind of lose control over me. I kind of observe myself from outside. So again, that's that emotional state, that's how we can identify progress. That's what we can improve if you're looking for making progress, improving anything. So the next question is how to change that emotional state, how to change how you feel. That's the question for you. If you have an answer, have an idea, leave a comment. Let's have a conversation. My answer is you want to be looking for activity. You want to measure your activity. And it's a general activity, of course, but in particular, your speaking activity. And very in particular, the activity where you kind of don't have to speak. There is always an option to raise your hand, not raise your hand, to go there, not to go there, to speak, not to speak, to start conversation, not to start conversation. To continue the conversation or to say, oh, I need to go, or I don't know. So there is always a path of activity and kind of escaping that activity, speaking activity in particular. Again, would you agree or disagree? Please leave a comment. Now, of course, as I was saying, it's hard to create activity when you start. But I had an interview, one of the interviews that I had, where I've heard great new perspective, where oftentimes people count as good days the days where they stutter less. And a new perspective is, what if you count as good days where you stutter more? The more you stutter, you collect those moments. The more you stutter, the more you say, good job, right? I understand it's a radical new perspective. It's hard to imagine, but I want you just to think about it. Because the more we're escaping it, the more there's no way to improve. So we need somehow to get ourselves to this action mode where you do it in first time. Technically, you might think you fail. I stuttered, I didn't like it. But only when you get yourself to action, you activate your brain, your body, your emotional system, so that it starts actively looking for some ways how to improve. What can it do differently? If you simply make, every day you make a phone call, 10 days, probably on day 10, you still are more... you are going to be more confident in terms of what you say, how you say. Again, I understand with stuttering it's not that straightforward as with other activities, where you simply do it and you improve by simply doing it. That's why I'm preaching, again, agree, disagree, leave a comment, but I'm preaching about developing training speech. By default, we have a neurological predisposition. So insecure speaking structure, glitches, stuttering, our emotional system, brain, body react automatically. So it's a cycle. So to interfere this cycle, we start speaking with the training speech. And the training speech is not some trick to escape stuttering. It's simply just a more relaxing, more assertive, more expressive speaking, like I'm using the hand technique, where you feel that alignment. You are in the sound, you're relaxing, you're assertive, you're expressive. So it's restoring the structure of your natural speaking. and you feel that, yeah, it's a little slower, especially when you get started. But again, it's very natural sounding. Again, it's a little more relaxing, a little more expressive, maybe a little more assertive. So this is the training speech. It's again a big conversation about acceptance, accepting you as the person who stutters, who's working on their speech. There's nothing to be ashamed of, but it opens the door to activity so that you can start going live, making speeches in the small group, in our big Free From Stutter Facebook group, making phone calls, approaching strangers, making recordings. And then you do 10 phone calls. Wow, it becomes easy. It becomes something you start to enjoy. And that's how you develop this new emotional state where you're present, you're not escaping anything, you're not avoiding, you're not running away. You are confident in your own skin, of being you. You're authentic to who you are. So this is my point I wanted to share with you. Hi, Andre, says Camper. Hi, it's great. It means I think that you can hear me at least. Again, if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Leave a question. I'd love to have this conversation going. I'll be going live more regularly these days and going forward. I hope that I'll manage with this technical part because I haven't done it for a while. I hope I'm audible. I hope you can see me. But yeah, let's do that more often. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.